Hello, this is DareBearPodcast of the DareBearPodcast. We have here today
Jada Lee.
Yes. So we're gonna learn a little bit about you. So what do you do?
So I'm an R&B artist. I like to be like Jada Lee. I do R&B. But yeah, I'm originally from Maryland, but I came here, went to college at Temple. I studied audio engineering. Back then, the degree was called Media Studies and Production.
Got you.
So I did a lot of engineering, learning how to mix, master, voiceovers, things like that, just learning everything about media. After I graduated, I just stayed, and I got into my career, my passion. So now I just write, release music. I'm doing that full-time now. Kind of took a leap of faith and quit my full-time job in September.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing this full-time, just trying to get new stuff out and being more consistent.
So where in Maryland are you from?
I'm from the Eastern Shore.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, it's close to Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay, I know Ocean City.
Yeah, like the beachy area.
Okay.
So that's the part of Maryland I'm from.
You're the first person. Everybody knows Maryland's from PG County.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
no.
saying? You're the only normal Maryland.
Yeah, I'm from like the country of Maryland.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'm my cousin went to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So it's
really
really close
yeah,
to
right there,
exactly,
yeah, exactly there.
Mm-hmm.
And so what? So let's start in the jump. So what was baby you like? You know, when you was 8, kicking it. You feel what I'm saying? What brought you to this point here? What was you?
Okay, 8. I was definitely praise dancing in church.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. I was in choir.
Okay. I see the singing.
I was also in martial arts.
Okay. Okay.
I was also writing songs at 8.
Oh wow.
Honestly, and I would perform them for my grandmother and my grandfather, and I would do like fashion shows and stuff like that. So I was just really creative still like then. But I think like as I started getting older, like the world kind of tries to take that creativity out of you, and it's more of like a do something practical, do something that brings money, do something, So it took me a while to come back to music. Like music was always there, but like
as a serious
career,
thought, like
exactly.
I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put the work in.
Yeah.
So how old were you when that work started to get put in?
So my senior year of high school, up until that point, my main focus was to be an OBGYN. So I was doing AP courses, like I was ready for pre-med, had already taken a lot of the credits to count towards that for college. But the whole time I was doing music, like I was doing Rock and Roll Revival, which in high school that was a production where you had dancers, you had backup singers, like you had a live band, choreography, everything. It was like a big production, kind of like Broadway. And I did that every year, and so like my passion was always music. So senior year, I had a decision to make. It's like, all right, so do I keep going along this path that I've been going on, which like I would be happy, but I would always wonder like what would have happened if I had just given music a shot, or do I do music, and if push comes to shove, I can always go back to be a doctor, right? So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So I told my parents, I was like, all right, so I'm going to go to school for audio engineering because I want to learn how to do it myself.
Got you.
That way, that helps with less hands in my pockets because we all know as creative.
We're having a great conversation about the music industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like as a creative, like you, especially as an artist, like you'll have so many people, so many hands in your pockets with stylists and publicists, your manager, like the list goes on and on. So it's like I wanted to figure out a way to minimize that. Exactly, and be able to learn the process of it, because I feel like if you know how it works, you can also help make the process easier and better. So yeah, I was like, all right, so next step is finding a school. And the craziest thing is like, I feel like within a week I had gotten one of those brochures. Like when you're about to go to school, like you get all of these brochures from colleges. And I got one from Temple, and like on the brochure was specifically the media program.
Oh wow!
And I was like, you know what? All right, I hear you, God. Let's go. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go here.
So we have a little bit in common. So for me, I wanted to be a doctor too.
Okay.
So my very good friend, Charles Antonio, he had died from cancer. We were senior year, and so I wanted to be a pediatric oncologist. So this Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and he was there, and I saw so much the love and support that he had. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that to help, keep people like Antonio, right? So also too, my school's a trade school, so I was in pre-engineering.
Okay.
And so yeah, so I originally went for a degree in biological engineering. So my thought process is I could do that. You saw the same stuff in pre-med, but if stuff go wrong, I'm still an engineer. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Rich these ways, but then Cal 3 wasn't working, so I had to transition to what I wanted to be now and be that. So I definitely, when you said that, I was like, we could have been in the OR together, dropping babies. But so that's what I say. Oh yeah, so going to Temple, what was that experience like?
So honestly, like, I was so focused on the coursework that I feel like I didn't do as much socially until like junior, senior year.
Ah, got you.
I was just tunnel vision on my goals of being a straight A student, like
that's good,
making sure that I'm hitting honor roll, dean's list, and I was also like the president of a few honor societies.
Gotcha.
So like that was my focus, and I didn't really focus socially that much, but I will credit Temple for bringing me to Rec because I've been a member of Rec since 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like, and I've met a lot of people through Temple who have been very influential in my music career. So like the music program was amazing, and I loved going there. But yeah, I enjoyed myself for the most part. I wish I had more fun. Like, when you look back, you're just like, damn, like, everybody's had such a great college experience. I'm just like, I feel like I took it too seriously.
I would say going to an historical black college, I had some of the latest. We had something called GHO, right?
Okay.
It's called the greatest homecoming on earth, right? Over 20,000 people come to my school for homecoming, right? And yes, it's crazy. 20,000 people come to my homecoming, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and then everything I don't know, but I graduated high school in 2015.
Okay.
When did you graduate high school?
2013.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So you're a little more grown than me, right?
Yeah.
So,
just
a little, just a touch. And I wish I came out 2013. So it was right when my school was still ghetto. It kind of as I grew up out of here. But some of the most lit times of my life were freshman sophomore year of A&T, right?
Yeah.
We was jumping. I remember, I used to see the baby all the time before he got big.
It must be nice.
That's all I say. He came to my school, performed for 30 people. 30 people. And the next year we all going like this. True story. Tootsie was all.
It's crazy how like the industry works. Like, one year you can be relatively unknown, and then the next year or within months, really,
you're jumping.
Exactly.
And it was just really crazy stuff like that too. And then me socially, I found we had this thing called Aggie Night Live. It was like Saturday Night Live with the Aggies. And so I became a writer for that. So I did sketch comedy. It was really fun and stuff like that. I joined my fraternity. You know what I mean? Go Mob. And then, and so, you know what I mean? So I definitely get it. I know our media department, I've never heard of a guy named Terrence J, but he was one of the Code 1-6 Park. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went to my school. He went to A&T.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so,
I did not know
yeah,
that.
he went to A&T, and my program is journalism, mass communications. Journalism comes first, but a lot of people in the news, and one of my good friends works for MSNBC, and so just a long-standing thing. Did you have any internships when you were in Temple?
Yeah, so I interned at WXPN.
Mm-hmm.
I interned at WRTI.
Mm-hmm. And then what radio stations? What radio stations are they? Like, specifically, what's WXPN? Like, what channel is that?
It was more of like they play like country.
Oh, I'm about to say Power 99. Like, I know that.
Yeah, pop, like singer-songwriter stuff. Like, they would have people come in and like play like in their live room. But I was a production intern, so I was more so editing the live podcast they had and everything, putting it down together, and then doing research on whoever they were interviewing and putting together a package for them. So
what? So is that something that you got through Temple, or you just looked for it? And
so I got it kind of both.
Okay.
So like my professors had recommended that I do that, but then you also kind of have to go through the process yourself and find it that way. But I love doing that. Like it kept me in the music, in the know, and then like it was just fun. It was fun, like, because for me, like, I don't play an instrument, so I always, like, when I see someone who can sing, play an instrument, write, I'm just in awe, because it's like, damn, you're really doing the thing, like, you.
like for those things, were those in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Those internships?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, WXPN, I think that's more like university city, like close to Drexel.
Okay.
WRTI is closer to Temple.
Got you.
Yeah.
One thing I would love to ask, right, is I always hear about Temple and gentrification, right? Is that real?
Yeah.
I don't need to jump on you on that, but I'd love to hear about that though.
It's very real. I mean, you have. I feel like especially now, like I feel like when I went to Temple, like it was more black, and now like there's more white students. You have more crime, and then they're surprised by the fact that there's more crime. But it's like you're in North Philly. Like, what did you expect?
In the trenches.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I remember like the first year I came to Temple, because like I feel like you can tell when somebody's not from the city.
Oh hell yeah!
You can definitely tell. So the first year that I came here, I was walking to. So I was taking an opera class.
Okay.
So I was walking to the sub, because we were going Center City to an opera.
Okay.
And I was on the phone with my mom. Like I had my phone in one hand, and I'm just talking to her. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna talk to you while I go to the sub, just for like comfortability.
Yeah, of course.
I talk to my mom every day, multiple times a day. So I'm a
shout out mommies.
Yes. Yeah, shout out. So I'm talking to her, and next thing I know, like this guy rides by on his bike and snatches my phone out of my hand.
Damn.
And like my first instinct was I'm running after him.
Oh, of course.
So I'm running after him. I'm catching up to him. I'm like, you know what? This might not be the smartest thing for me to run after somebody. Like, if you want the phone that bad, you can have it.
You can go back. That's crazy.
So I had to go back to my dorm. I called my mom from my iPad, and she was like, I was wondering, because all I heard was you, like, footsteps, and this guy, like, he hangs up the phone, and then he texts me. He's like, hey, Mom, like, I'm okay. I'm like, so he's trying to impersonate me, too. That's really wild. But, yeah, so that was my first experience. But to go back to what you were saying, like, I feel like Temple is smack dab in the middle of North Philly, and the way that they're changing the campus, it's just attracting more white people, more like developments, more like it's just taken away from the black community.
See, sure. You know, I'm from the area. I'm from South Jersey, but both my grandparents are from Philadelphia. Been to West Philly with my auntie all the time. I always like to say this in the podcast because it always blows my brain out. My aunt passed away when she was 98.
Wow.
Yes, stayed in the same block, same Philly, same everything.
That's an amazing life.
98, right? I met somebody from 1922.
That's crazy.
It was cool. And,
that's a blessing.
And she's the reason why I'm a twin, because she was my great-grandmother's twin.
Oh.
Yep, so that's how we get the genes of twins.
Yeah.
So I literally come from her. But anyway, just even being in West Philly, seeing the gentrification. You know what I mean? What, you know, she went through places where white people on purpose put black people. You know what I mean? And I think those same times that, you know, these same areas that were bombed in the 80s, you know what I mean, and attacked, and people selling crack in, and, you know what I mean, and Freeway, and state property, and Rockefeller was in, and that same place is some white kid named Brandon is hanging out.
Or Brendan.
Brendan is hanging out, and it blows my brain now. And I was hearing this, but I don't know nobody from Temple, so that's why I don't know y'all the Owls, and that's it. Yeah, so they see. That. Yeah, but I think that it just blows my brain out to think, like, you know, I've heard stories of people on purpose shooting in the air so white people go away. You know what I'm saying? That'll make them dangerous. And it's just sad, you know what I mean, to see as over time, where I used to go around there and drive around, it was more like it's Temple, but it was more contained. But then,
and
you know,
it's just like
slowly and then they taking away the row houses. That's what I'm saying. It's the you know, the parts of those things, and that were the they probably got crack cocaine in the dirt right now off of what they, you know what I mean? So I was gonna hear that. So when did you make your first official song? Like streaming platform, this is me, bow. When did you make your first official song?
Technically 2016.
Okay.
I don't like to count it because it was bad.
Oh wow. What made it bad? Tell me the whole process of this song.
So the song, I produced it. I made the beat.
Okay.
On GarageBand. I recorded it on GarageBand. Okay. I mixed it and mastered it on Garage. Pretty much I did everything on GarageBand.
Okay.
Which
it's not bad. I think it's not bad.
If you know what you're doing.
Okay, did you know what you were doing?
Not really.
Okay.
So like, it could have been better.
Okay.
But also I feel like you have to start from
somewhere. Yeah, you gotta grow.
So I'm not mad at it. It's just if people ask, I'm like 2016, but technically 2018. But yeah, 2016.
Okay, cool. So after that, 2016, you said 2018. So there's a gap.
Yeah.
What
so
was that gap?
2017, I released 2 EPs.
Okay, so what's music?
I guess it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was experimenting with my sound in 2017, so I didn't have like a consistent engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone to Milk Boy to work with I don't remember his name, but I had worked with Milk Boy Studios.
Milk Studios. Okay.
Yeah, so I had gone there to work with someone. I had never met him.
Okay.
We worked on one EP, and then later that year, I met Ben Thomas, and he worked on the second EP, and then after that, I've been working with him consistently. So I've been able to have like a consistent sound. But yeah, so.
How long does the EP take?
To record or just in general?
In general, because you have to write the songs, feel the vibe.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
for
what
me,
is you know what I mean? Because I'm not in music, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my process.
Yes.
So for me, like and honestly, like my process is different now than it was before. But now, I start with like just sourcing together a whole bunch of different producers and just talking to them and letting them know what I'm looking for, and I'll pull together like different tracks, and then I'll just free write to them. Like I'll write maybe like if the EP is gonna be 3 songs, I'll write maybe like 5 or 6.
Okay.
And then I'll listen to all of them, see which ones fit and which ones are the best ones, try to pick the cream of the crop, and then go from there. I also like doing EPs that are based on a theme. Like the one that's coming out this year is called Unholy Trinity, and it's 4 songs. The intro is more so about me talking about like how I feel like I'm attracted to toxic people, and then the 3 songs after that are about each person that I've dealt with.
Whoa, hey! We naming names?
Yeah. So it's about like each, the 3 most toxic people that I have.
Hate to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to talk about this guy good. All right, cool. So, what makes a man toxic to you?
So I feel like not being honest is a big thing.
Got you.
Because if you come into a situation, you're like, hey, like, I'm not ready for this, I'm not emotionally available, I'm not this, I'm not that, then I can't be mad at you if you move accordingly.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you come into a situation, you're like, hey, like, I want da-da-da-da, and then come to find out you end up...
Just trying to catch a vibe.
Exactly. That's an issue. I feel like a man who's toxic is a gaslighter, someone who does wrong but will never admit it and will try to turn it on you and be like, what do you mean? Like, I never... You did do that.
Yeah. Who Felicia?
I can pull receipts.
Exactly.
I feel like a toxic man is someone who's not emotionally mature yet. Someone who lacks accountability. And then for me, like, I need someone who's softer, because I feel like I'm kind of more on the hard side.
Okay.
So I need someone who's going to bring out the softness in me.
So what are some of your musical influences?
Aaliyah.
Okay.
I love Summer Walker, Janae Aiko.
Okay, I'm starting to see the I'm starting to see the people. Yeah.
Who else?
You like Ari
Sade.
Lennox? You like Ari Lennox?
I do.
Okay.
So my single actually gives Ari Lennox, like the beat and just the vibe of it. That one gives Ari Lennox. Then I have another song on the EP that gives more Summer Walker.
Got you.
But yeah, like I love like the classic R&B girls.
Okay. So this is a question I ask everybody, right? And I'm gonna go further than you think, but I'm asking you what your top 5 albums. Now, they could be anything. It could be rap, whatever, your top 5 albums. I'll start with why you think. I ask everybody this. All right, cool. So, in no order, Outkast, Aquemini. I'm going to say Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life.
Okay.
I'm going to say Kanye West, Late Registration. I'm going to say... What's my ones? MF Doom's Operation Doomsday, and I would say, what's that? It just got hard for me now. I'm like, who am I missing? I feel like I'm gonna say something wild. They be like, why do you put? Okay, I would say Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders.
Okay.
What's your 5?
This is gonna be hard for me.
Okay.
Because to be honest, nowadays, like, I don't really listen to a lot of albums because of the way the industry's changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I loved B-Day by Beyonce.
Okay, that was a good one.
What else? Janae Eiko's recent album.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it.
You mean the one with her and Big Sean, or the other one?
No, she had like let me see. She had a solo one that she put out.
I forgot we could use our phones. That's crazy. There's no
I was
rule
like,
against.
hold on. I was like, I will literally look it
I
up.
was like, I forgot
have
to
them
use the phone.
saved. All right, let's see.
Eagles new. I remember the album with her and Big Sean.
2088.
Yeah.
That was honestly a good one too.
Yes, that was.
I wouldn't say
I
it
was
was
like best
like
album.
5,
Yeah.
But like that was a pretty good one, and I feel like it really showed like their relationship as well, and it's just cute like watching them come back to it. Their relationship.
Take your time.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't want to give all Beyonce.
No, give all Beyonce. It's your top 5. You're 4.
So I'm gonna give a Drake one because I feel like it's definitely gonna be.
Which Drizzy?
Let's see. Definitely not Her Loss.
That
one didn't do it for me.
You
gotta go back to old Drake.
I was about to say old Drizzy. Which one?
I really liked Views. It was either Views or Take Care.
I like Take Care. I like Views. I remember the thing, but I feel like it's the middle one with him like in the blue background when he's looking.
Nothing Was the Same.
Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah.
That's the one.
See, my problem is I don't know the name. Like I can picture it, I just don't know the name.
Yeah, same. No, Take Care was definitely taken over.
Definitely Taking Care.
It was a Rihanna Drake days when life was simple.
Yeah.
What else?
The Janae Eiko one. It was Chilombo. That was the one.
It happens. Yeah, I was not.
I was never going to come up with that one.
Okay, Chilombo. Okay, 2 more.
Summer Walker. The one with the pink background.
Where she had a little head.
Yeah. She was like,
yeah. That's when she was still with DJ Mustard. That was her name?
No, London.
London on the track.
Yeah.
I said DJ Mustard. I'm
over it. It was over it. It was over it.
I'm over here starting stuff in the shade room.
Right. I was like, DJ
Mustard. No, that was the first guy I thought of.
What did I miss?
Mustard on
And I have one more, right? So I said Summer.
Okay.
I said Janae Eiko, Beyonce, Drake.
Breaking stuff.
Oh, Doja. I listen to that album all the time. Doja Cat, the one that had like
Say So on it?
Yeah, had all those on there. I listened to that. Planet Her.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything about like Aaliyah's album or...
You know, I didn't think about it, but it probably would have been.
I was about to say, I said classic. Yeah, it was all there.
Yeah.
If you could make music with another artist, any artist in the world, dead or alive, who would you have a song with?
I feel like sonically it would make more sense to say Aaliyah because our voices are similar.
Okay.
But I definitely would say Whitney Houston. Just because we have the same like church influences, and she's an icon.
Of course.
And I feel like if I was in a time where I could do a song with her, that would be great. Living, I would say Summer Walker. Summer Walker got the bangers. Summer Walker or not necessarily a singer, but or Drake. Yeah, because I feel like Drake, it seems like he has a capacity to like put anybody on. Like he did that with Georgia and like even to some senses with SZA. So and I like Drake's sound, and I feel like it'd be a nice contrast with an R&B vibe.
Yeah. That's literally Drake. R&B.
Yeah.
I'll say I write comedy, so if I could do a movie with anybody, it would be Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I say Jamie Foxx for sure. Jamie Foxx, period. And then dead. passed away, I would say, if I'm being honest, and this would be hilarious, but it's Betty White. A comedy with Betty White, if I wrote, would be hilarious. And she's like a sweet lady.
R.I.P.
We talk about animals and stuff. Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Go on, say. And honorable mention is I would have to say Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy. He was always I think we all grew up with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, literally, your mama grew up with Eddie Murphy. We grew up with Murphy. Yeah, but I'll make another kids movie with Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah, kids movie with Eddie Murphy in it. Yeah, that's what I would say. So something that you touched on is how the music industry has changed, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel it's changed to you?
So I feel like in general, like probably before our time or even like earlier, it was more album based. It was more like you're gonna go to the record store, you're gonna get a whole
Body
product,
work. Yeah.
exactly, and you're gonna listen to the whole thing because I mean you have no other options. Whereas now the industry has changed so much where like you don't have to listen to a whole album. You can just listen to one song. You can download one song, and that kind of changes the way you market things because now it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole body of work. You don't have to release a whole body of work. You can focus only on doing a single, and that can do just as well for you as somebody before who's going to have to jump.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's cheaper. I feel like as an independent artist, you know, it's expensive. It's expensive to do the whole rollout for a single.
Yeah, marketing can be, yes.
Yeah, along with the videos you'll have to do, whether it's a lyric video, a music video. Music videos are expensive.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do that in a good way, cheap. And so if you're consistently like having to push these things, it's a lot easier to do that if you're doing singles than if you're having to do it for
a whole body work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people now always talk about like ownership and get your puppet sheet and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you feel about that?
Like as far as like making sure that you're registering
Yeah.
works and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about that part. Cause a lot of people want to get into music,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that, but they don't even know what that really means. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Like how do you like you ever had to clear something?
No, so I've never had to use I've never used samples.
Okay,
like
yeah.
I try to steer clear of
Of
that.
course, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
I feel like I don't have the team to be able to clear it. So
But it's like
just
if Drake calls you and be like, I'm trying to use your voice on my next album, how would you handle that?
I'm gonna be like, hell yeah.
It's the check.
Yeah. And then it's just a matter of writing up a contract, having a split sheet, just making sure that like.
What is a split sheet so people know?
So a split sheet, if you're working with another artist doing a collab, it's written down what percentage you're gonna get, what percentage they're gonna get of royalties, just so nobody gets anything confused, and so it's written down and you can always go back to it legally if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just making sure that you have all of the business things lined up instead of just getting too excited with the process. And I feel like that's where a lot of creatives mess up is they're like, oh, like this is a cool person, like we can deal with this later. And sometimes you can't do that and it makes it more complicated. So it's better to do it up front and have that maybe awkward conversation with your friend and be like, hey, like I know we're releasing this song. I put a lot of work into this. I know you put a lot of work into this. So how are we going to split this up? Yeah, it's better to have that conversation sooner rather than later. And also making sure that you're registering your songs. That way, if, God forbid, someone does use your lyrics, you have, you know, and the song is big, it ends up blowing up, then you have, you know, a leg to stand on in court if you want to pursue that.
So how does one register my song?
So you can go to copyright.gov.
Okay, .gov. Okay.
Yeah.
Never knew this.
And they have, you can create an account, and it's a pretty straightforward process. They have, you know, like if you, as soon as you click register your work, like they'll have different links to what specifically you should do.
Gotcha.
Because you can register a play, you can register a poem, you can register a song, a film, and it walks you through each step of those different processes.
Oh.
So.
Never knew that. If you were to give advice to someone, what advice would you give them?
Starting out?
Yeah, starting out. Let's do starting out.
Okay.
And then let's do like they've been working on it. They've been working on it. They've been a little bit, but they don't really see no progress, right? So let's get to the starting out.
Starting out, I would say, first of all, making sure that like we've been talking about, that you're taking your time. You have all of your ducks in a row before you release.
Got you.
So that goes with the copywriting, your promotion, because I feel like in the beginning, and even honestly up until last year, I was not really promoting my music like that until I started to think of it as a product, and I'm a business. So if you're selling, say you're selling perfume or a bag, you're not going to just post it once and then be like, oh, I posted it, maybe they'll buy it now. You know what I mean? Like, even commercials that you see like consistently on TV, they're always pushing the product. Maybe to the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm tired of listening to it, but then you find yourself going on here like, what was the hype about? They're consistently posting about this. So I think my biggest thing when I started out was not wanting to annoy people by posting too much about myself. I was like, I don't want to post like every day. I don't want to do this. Like, they're going to get tired of me. They're going to follow me. But now I'm getting to the point where it's like, if you want to follow me, bye. Like, obviously you weren't here for me or my music anyway. I want to build more of an authentic fan base and following.
And then what's the advice for somebody who's
been
doing it?
Okay, so for them, I feel like my biggest thing is not getting too caught up in the numbers, because it's easy to get discouraged when like you put so much time and so much money and so much effort into a song, and if it doesn't do what you expect it to do or what you wanted it to do, it's easy to be like, all right, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, is this the right path for me? But I feel like you kind of have to detach yourself from the result. Like, put it out because you love music, because this is what you love to do, and just let it be what it's going to be, because it only takes one song. So you just have to keep, if this is what you want to do, just keep putting stuff out until you get to the point where you want to be.
I know for me, I had other podcast before this, and it was in North Carolina. See, everything be going down.
North Carolina.
Deep roots. And so I was with my friend, and sadly she got busy with her life, so we had to switch it. But I know for me, like, you heard like SEO stuff. Yeah, so like we use that, like social media marketing. That was our main thing.
Right.
And using Instagram and Twitter. So for $20, I could get like 2,000 views on my YouTube, right? And just like using that. And I think my thing is consistency. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like ducking in a row. Like, I've been shooting these podcasts up, so when I'm ready, I can just post here.
Exactly.
Clip, you know what I mean? But I also learn from what you're doing. I feel a lot of people there do the same things. Okay, I'll do this, do that. But like, did you even look at for how many people watched it, right? Who are those people watching it? Why they watch it, right? What, do something different to see will this change things? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of times people start good, but they're not consistent. Or they do things and then they never look back to say, all right, how can we make them better? You know what I mean? And that's hard to say, I messed up, this wasn't the right thing to do, and can you pivot? You feel what I'm saying? I would say there's never a wrong time to do something right. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what I always say, repeat people giving the game is just be consistent. Cause a lot of people say they want to be a lot of things. You always have that one friend who's always got that one business, making candles or something. They're like, all right.
Or they start something, like,
and they stop,
and they start something else,
and they stop. That's like consistency, because people respect consistency.
Yeah.
Because over and over again, you know what I mean, it's not that you are a person who's saying you're a singer. You know what I mean? And I feel like bridging that gap, you know, that's part of building your brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you said annoy people, I was like, what? You're not annoying anybody.
I know.
Yeah.
See, but that was like beginner mindset of like, at that point, I don't really think I was fully in artist mode yet. I was still in like, if someone asked me what I do, I would probably be like, I make songs.
But yeah. It's not
you know
like
what I mean?
full.
Yeah. Whereas now, like you said, like, you just have to be consistent. And so I'm in a space in my life right now where I'm gonna push content. I'm gonna create content, even if I have to give up my weekends, even if I have to give up my nights, even if I'm working from when I wake up to when I go to sleep, because sometimes that's what it requires. And I'm glad to do it because I'm seeing results from it. But like you said, definitely consistency, definitely, you know, taking the numbers that you do have access to and experimenting. Like, this time, like, before I would do a pre-save campaign for a week. This time I'm like, well, let me try 2 weeks and see if that changes how many pre-saves I get.
Yeah.
This time I'm like, all right, well, let me edit this ad to see, like, I see that I have more female people looking at my stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I have this specific age range. Well, maybe what if I target only them for this ad? Will that change the engagement on it? It's just experimenting, really, and just trying to see what works and not getting caught up if it doesn't, and you know, beating yourself up. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Is just like, I feel like as creative people, like, we're sensitive sometimes when it comes to our art, and so it's easy to get attached to your project and be like, I don't like, why didn't people like it?
Yeah, I was like Howard, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you done any live shows?
I have. So right now I'm doing more open mics.
Okay.
Kind of like our conversation earlier, like, I had a lot of things lined up before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened, and there were no more live shows, and it was more of like doing lives and stuff like that. Yeah, so that kind of stopped momentum. So now, like, my dad, who's my dadager, he's trying to shop me back to the places that we had booked before. A lot of my performances were in the beach, like at the beach in Ocean City. So trying to pick that back up, and then me on this side, I'm trying to get things going here in Philly. So I've been doing a lot of more open mics and jam sessions, just trying to get to know people in the music scene here. And because I feel like once you know more, you can kind of get involved more. Yeah, so, but yeah, that's what I've been doing and getting into. The next open mic I go to, I'm going to start, you know, testing out my new songs.
See how people like them.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a show that didn't go well?
Yes. So in college, I did, I got invited to do like an Apollo type show. Now, for those who don't know, an Apollo type show, like, you go on stage and you sing, and people can boo you off the stage, essentially. So I had gotten invited to be on the show, so I did. And looking back now, like, I can't really say it was a bad performance. I just think the environment that it was in, like, it was thrown by the AKAs. So, and then, like, a lot of people who were performing had, like, a lot of friends in the crowd, and there was an end prize for the person who was booed the least. So then it's like one of those things where, like, you're just gonna boo everybody that's not your friend.
That's a serious matter.
So, but that's what ended up happening. So I went on stage and I'm singing, and I probably sang like 2 lines, and then I just got swept off the stage.
Ah, gosh.
And, like, for me, like, it took me a while to perform after that, because it really knocked my confidence, because I was like, geez.
You, like, serious, and they playing.
Yeah, like, I was serious.
You trying to share your
art.
And
it was embarrassing, and I was just like, was I really bad, or was it like...
No, you wasn't bad.
Yeah, so, like, that, it took me a while to get over that, but now, like, I feel like it also helped me in a way, because one of the things I can say about myself is, even if I'm performing and I'll forget the lyrics, I'll just end up improvising to a point where it's better than if I had actually sang the lyrics. And so that's something that, like, I feel like I've learned how to think on my feet. I've learned how to never let the crowd know that you don't know what you're doing.
Okay. So, I have this question. Okay. Beyonce walks in here, right?
Okay.
She's like, you gotta give me one song that I need to hear. What's that song that you made?
That I made?
That you made. Your song. Like, you on the Beyonce tour. Okay. You might get that Ivy Park hat. What's the song that you play her to be like, I'm really like that?
Probably Miss You Bad.
Miss You Bad. Okay. Bad.
Yeah.
Everybody listen to Miss You Bad. That's the
that's the plug.
That's the plug. Miss You Bad. Why Miss You Bad? Was you singing and that's why?
Yeah.
Or just an overall good song?
So, I feel like that one, like, it has the most emotion in it.
Got you. And
I wrote that one from out of heartbreak, but I feel like that was, like, a pivotal point in my career where, like, to this day, that's my best EP. And I feel like that song, you can hear the emotion in my voice when I'm singing it. And I feel like the song a lot of people can relate to. And I was singing.
you was singing? You was
singing.
Now, you about to say, okay, no, what's like you about to say their eyes or...
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to sing a song...
Yeah, anytime anybody's like, all right, sing for me, I'm like, His Eyes on the Sparrow, on a dime.
Oh, okay, you want to... Okay, it's given.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my go-to.
Something I wanted to ask you about is why... Like, of course you like to sing, do sing, but why did you want to be a singer? Like, what was the point of being like, this is what I have to do, like, this is my life's mission? You know what I mean?
The craziest thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, I've never thought about, like, why I do it. It's like, I feel like I was made to do it, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't be myself. I feel like and that's why I can never give up, because I don't think I'd ever be able to forgive myself for giving up on who I am. Because when I think about who Jada is, it's always a singer, it's always an artist. And that's ultimately what drove me to make that decision when I was in high school, because I don't think being a doctor is completely authentic to who I am. Because it's been something that's been so influential in my life and instrumental in my life since I can remember. Like, when my mom was pregnant with me, like, she had headphones over her stomach.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like, I feel like music has always been a part of me. So I never really thought about why I do it, because to me, I just feel like it's something I have to do, something I was made to do, and I feel like it's my purpose.
So, last question. I think that was a beautiful quote.
Thank you.
Yes. But last question I want to know is, do you feel Lamar Jackson's going to leave the Ravens?
Listen,
they ain't trying to pay that man.
He might.
They playing games. They said Tyler Huntley. So
I know.
What? Do you think he's really going to leave Baltimore?
I hope not.
You hope not.
I love Lamar. I think if he does, I don't knock him, because he's been trying to secure this contract and this money for the longest time, and it seems like they're not trying to pay him. So, and I appreciate his talent enough to want him to go where his flowers are being watered.
So what it sounds like, he's not coming back for your proper pay.
I don't know. I want him to.
I want him to.
I really want him to. Because it would really hurt to watch him play for another team. But like I said, I would never want somebody to say somewhere that they're not gonna be in.
Yeah, I just had to ask you that. I was like,
yeah.
Ravens.
But as a Ravens fan, I want him to stay.
I like Lamar. You can say healthy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too, is healthy. Yeah. That's but the thing. But pay that black man his money. That's we're gonna end
now.
Pay that black man his money. All right. Yes. Well, thank you. This has been Darius Fogarty.
Yes, and Jada Lee.
And thank you so much, DareBearPodcast. Yes.
Tell me you be thinking about me when you with like praying for them summer nights in the dead of winter, baby. I believe we can make this right. Cause I know, yeah, I know you can't deny what you are feeling for me. How you gonna give up on your dream, girl, when you already know on the low it'll never be the same without me. If you need it, then I want it back. Oh, if you need it, then